Hey, good morning, folks. This is Coco again. This morning we're going to be talking about fades and how to get a fade into your audio tracks or into your MIDI tracks. There's two different processes with that. With Cubase Elements 15. I suspect that it's the same for the higher versions of Cubase, but I wanted to go over some of the little nuances with Cubase Elements 15. So with that, let's go ahead and let me reduce my image and bring up Cubase, spread it out. Move myself down here. In this particular track, what we have is this is "Lost in Love" by Air Supply. Let me play to you what this sounds like when I haven't done anything to it.
I realize the best part of love is the thinnest slice, and it don't count for much, but I'm not letting go. I believe there's so much to believe in.
Yeah, that's me. Pretty simple track. What I did was there's three tracks on here. There's a vocal, there's a grand piano, and an electric piano. And then I mixed it down so that it's all into this single track that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to mute all these, and we're just going to play the mix down track. This is an audio track in stereo, as you can see. And with an audio track, it's pretty simple to include fades. Like if you wanted to fade in the intro, all you have to do is really grab this corner. There's a corner triangle, and you just sort of drag it down, and you can fade into the song. So let's just listen how this sounds now. It's real low and then comes back up.
I realize the best part of love is the thinnest slice, and it
Okay, so you can do that, a fade in on the intro to a song, and then simultaneously, which is very typical of an audio track mixed down, is to have at the very end fading it out, which is very typical. So you could do the same thing, just grabbing the triangle at the end, moving it left, and then you can create.
G at 9, listen. And the real thinnest slice don't count for much.
And now it fades off to nothing. Okay, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty easy to do. The the question is, well, how do you do that on a MIDI track? Because that's not an audio track. Let's just look at, and we'll turn off the mix down, and then we'll solo the electric piano, which of course I'll raise the volume a bit. Okay, so how do you do that? Because it's not an audio track, there are none of these little corners that you can easily do this with. So what you have to do is either freeze it and then replace the track with the frozen audio track, and then you can go ahead and use these corners because it turns into an audio track. So freeze the MIDI and it turns it back in. But in order to do this, it's a little complicated because unlike some of the higher versions of Cubase, it doesn't render it. Cubase does not have a rendering function. And in other DAWs and in higher levels of Cubase, they have a render, which means that it will immediately turn your MIDI into an audio track that then you can manipulate. But you can't do that in Cubase Elements 15. So how do you do it? Okay, this is where you start using this automation. Okay, you can you can create an automation track by turning on the automation and the writing of the automation. These are these two buttons here. Okay, I want to write some automation. So let's go back to the beginning. And there's basically two ways to do this. When let's just say that I want the volume to be completely down at the very beginning. Okay. So when I start playing this song, an automation track will appear. Watch. See, automations. And then I can do this manually and raise the level to sort of have a fade in. That's kind of wonky. That's kind of, it's kind of not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is to go ahead and start at the bottom once you get the automation in there. And then you essentially are touching this with this little finger thing and put another one over here at this end, and then you can drag it and create the ramped automation that fades in the particular piano. So let's listen to it now. Let me highlight this so it's a little bigger. And now it comes up to full volume. That's how you do it on a MIDI. There's some other things that you can control, like mute with automation, but we won't go into that right now. If you have along your track, on your automation track, there's a section, say you want to have it a little lower than the rest of you can do a very same thing. You can add automation along the way and then ramp it down. See how I'm creating another ramp down at a certain point. It's going to ramp down to whatever level of volume you want. And it's going to start to ramp it down. It takes the volume down. Say if you have an instrument that you want to lower the volume during a specific piece. So that's how you do that with the MIDI. You basically are playing with this automation. And once you get it written, you can take off the write, and then it'll basically, you can't change it anymore. And that, when you play back your track, then it's going to stay in that it's going to stay in that configuration where the volume will rise and lower however you set it. So that's how you do it on a MIDI track. Because Cubase Elements 15 doesn't have a true render where it replaces the MIDI with an audio track. Okay, let's go back for a second to the audio track, and let me bring that one up, and I'll mute the electric piano. If you have two pieces of Let's just move these back so that they're full volume. Let's just say I split this, and you split it by using the split tool, and then I come over here, and now I have two pieces of audio track that I can separate like this. And you can do the same thing. Once you split it, you can start moving and fading in and out individual sections so that one section's big, one section's, and it goes down and then back up. So our volume goes up, normal, back down, then back up again for this particular thing. So that's how you do the fading with individual pieces. There's another function, and let me show you that. If you had two pieces of audio that sort of overlapped, maybe it was two different things that you wanted to overlap. See, right now, what you're going to get is, right in the middle, you're going to get a lot of sound going on that may be not synchronized with each other. But what you can do is you can highlight both tracks together, and then you can come over here to audio, and you can go to fade, which is part of the drop down menu, and then you can go over here to crossfade. And what it's going to do, and you can see that, let me sort of zoom in a little bit. It automatically will create a downward fade on the first track and then an upward fade on the second track, so that when it's coming across, you get a smooth transition from one. So let's listen to how that sounds.
Plans, I figured it out, what I needed to show. I've been loving you too long. It started so easy.
I don't know if you heard that, but that's how you can do a crossfade. Okay, so that's how you do it with two different pieces. So let's just go ahead and move those so that they're separated. I will join them again. You can join them together again. These are two different pieces now. So you can join them by highlighting. You can grab anywhere and just tag both of them. And then I'll go back here to edit and then glue them back together again. Now they're a single piece. Okay, so this is what would be called a linear fade in. But let's just say you don't want to do a linear fade in. You want to do a different kind of fade in, like a logarithmic fade in. So if you highlight, all right, in order to get a fade that is not linear, what you go ahead and do is set the fade that you want. It's got to be greater than 0. And then it's the track is highlighted. Then go over here to audio, and then go over here to fades to open fade editor. And then what you're going to do, it's going to give you a menu that has different kinds of fades, and you can see them here. There's sort of an over the top, there's the linear, and then there's sort of the curved shape, which I guess would be to more logarithmics. And so let me just choose one of these curvy ones, and then you can modify it however you want in order to make whatever kind of curve you particular want. And then what it's going to do is it will apply that onto your audio track so that it fades in this case. You can do the same thing on a fade out, exactly how you want it to do it. So that's how you do it with the fade control. And that's how you do the fades. Now you can do the same thing on the back end. Let's just do that real quick. Got that selected. Audio fade, open fade editor, and you can do it on the back end too. Okay, that's a fade out. I want it to do that. Shape, apply that. Now you can see that it did the curve. Okay. So that's how you do those with the fade editor. And then you can get some good results. Let me see how that sounds. The song wouldn't be the same without that G add 9. Listen.
And I realized the biggest part is the thinnest slice.
Okay. All right. Hopefully that helped you. To understand how to do fades in Cubase Elements 15. It's not that difficult. A few little things. I do wish they had the render function. I'm not sure why they don't have the render, because that really makes it helpful. Once you get a MIDI track, you can then render it as an audio track, and there's a little more things that you can do to it at that particular point. But anyway, it is what it is, and Cubase Elements 15 is a great program. Hopefully you got something out of this. And with that, we'll catch you next time.